Okay, hi everybody, I'm Karl at Escape and welcome to our highlight reel for the 2021 Escape Virtual Rally. We called this the Summer Solstice 2021 Rally. This was edited down from about 3 hours of content and we brought it down to about an hour, sort of featuring the most important points or the parts that we think you might find most interesting. For us, it was the 3 owners modifications videos that we received from Johnny Hung, David Hendrickson and Treat Hull, including the Q&A session that we have with them. We hope you enjoy watching it. Thank you very much to everyone who attended. I'm Karl at Escape and we're built for you.
Hi, my name is Johnny. I'm the owner of this 2019 Escape 21. I've made some modification to it. Come on in and let me show you. Come on inside here. One of the first thing I did was to upgrade the battery. As you can see here, there are 32 individual 3.2 volt lithium cells hooked up in series and parallel to make up that 24 volt 400 amp hour battery, and that's equivalent to about 10.2 kilowatt of power. That bank supplies power at 24 volts to this 3000 watt Victron inverter. This Victron inverter is very versatile, and in fact it's taking shore power directly in, and it has an internal transfer switch, so when it senses external AC it switches over from inverting from battery to shore power. Of course it goes through my EMC, a surge protector, and also a power monitor device. This Victron inverter directly supplies my main panel here, and in fact it's hooked up to all of the electrical outlets, including my microwave, toaster, the refrigerator when I want AC selection, and also my mini split AC. Now you can see the Lagoon table, and in fact when I took delivery of my 21, I elected not to have Escape install the pedestal type table. In fact, I'd install this table on my way from Chilliwack to Southern California. So this is very versatile. So you also notice that I have a long piece of carpet runner here. Underneath that there is a thin film heating element all along this carpet here, and it's about 1 millimeter thick right underneath the carpet. This heating element is about 150 watts, and it provides a nice warm floor for me during those cold winter camping outings. Another major upgrade is my dual compressor refrigerator that runs on DC and AC. It's got a separate freezer. It's a 6.9 cubic feet. However, the usable space is very similar to the original Dometic that I had, which took an early retirement. Moving to the galley, I installed a pedestal power strip that definitely helped the organization of all the electrical cordage. Here's my luxury upgrade of a 1300 watt toaster, which is mounted on a articulating arm. It's actually a television mount. You can have it in the home position or all the way out near the window when you're at boondock location. But I prefer to operate the toaster in this position where the vent can evacuate some of the heat and smell during cooking. just above my microwave and refrigerator is my skylight upgrade. This is a 500 by 500 millimeter skylight, which replaced the 11,000 BTU noisemaker called the Pelican 2 AC. This skylight has a bug screen and a sunshade, and it even allows you to open the opening for air. Looking towards the front of my trailer, you will see my 9,000 BTU Sinville mini split air conditioner. It's also a heat pump. It provides warmth in colder climates, and of course out in the desert it provides nice efficient cooling. Here's my solar array. Looking towards the front, you see two panels, the one on top extended. Then I have two panels situated in the middle of the trailer. There's my skylight. Sorry, it's a little dirty on the roof here. And then of course the two other panels in the back, again extended. Here is the configuration at a boondocking location with panels extended. I have total of 1,390 watts available on the trailer, plus 350 if I need it on the truck bed, totaling over 1,700 watts available to power all the system needs. Another modification that I did early on was the addition of this 20-gallon freshwater tank. This 20-gallon really helped extend my boondocking capabilities. I have total of about 80 gallons of water. We have 20 here, 28 underneath, which is the stock tank. I also have a bladder tank that I have it installed in my Honda Ridgeline trunk bed. And together, the 80-gallon really help extend my stay out in the desert or wherever I am. Another upgrade that I think is very beneficial is the accumulator tank that's installed in line with the water system. And this acts as a buffer to eliminate the hammering, and also provides a pressure reservoir to deliver a very smooth flow of water no matter what water flow rate you select. In addition to my increased water capacity, this tank serves as my primary tank for winter camping. Because it is located inside the cabin and not outside, it is not subjected to the elements or freezing. So this comes in very handy in some of those late fall camping or even winter camping. So those are a few upgrades and modifications for my Escape 21. I hope you liked them, and I hope you found them informative, and you may want to do that for your trailer. Best of luck.
Great.
We're back.
We'll unmute Johnny here, or ask him to mute himself.
Hi, everyone.
That's great, Johnny. Well, thank you. We're going to see some. We'll look and see if we have some questions coming through. Maybe, Johnny, is there any chance you could give us a little bit of a background on your on where you got your technical capabilities from for the electrical side of all these upgrades that you've done?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for asking that. I'm an electrical engineer by trade. I was a research and development engineer for Johnson & Johnson. We made medical sterilizers for the medical industry. So that's my background. I've since retired. However, I went back as a consultant part-time. And by this September, I should be fully retired. And I would be, you'll find me out in the desert or in the forest somewhere after that.
Maximizing the use of your power and water, I would imagine.
Yes. Let's see, I see a question here. Let's see, I see you walked on the roof. I did. Um, on my orientation, I was told not to walk on my roof. However, I've since lost some weight, and I made sure to put big shoes on to basically distribute my weight. I made sure not to step on open flat areas, and some of the corners, the way that the design is, do allow some support. um, I think Escape do a really good job of providing a good internal structure. I'm sure Karl can speak to that. But I've had no issues walking on the roof. I know I've been told not to walk on the roof, but I've been very careful to kind of distribute my weight and walk on key supported areas. And I didn't see the last question. Let's see.
I do not see those questions.
I think he's looking at the Zoom.
Oh, there must be questions coming through on Zoom.
Oh, okay. I need to look at my phone. All right.
Oh, so one who says is, how do you secure the toaster while underway?
Oh, it's pretty easy. There is an anchor. I can't really show you right now.
Yeah.
Where I anchor to the top vent using the door latch. So the door latch have a couple of through holes.
Hmm.
I use a Velcro and to strap to the anchor to the top of the vent. And it does very well. Once or twice I've forgotten to do that, and the toaster kind of migrated from its home position, but it's not so bad. It's on an articulating arm. It holds, I believe, 48 pounds, but this toaster is only like 8 pounds. So I think we got a few margins.
Johnny, we got a question here from Beverly. Can you talk more about the battery system?
The question specifically is, it's that, and that's coupled with, okay, let's do that one first, Johnny. Talk a bit more about the battery system.
Yeah, the battery system. Now, I did not go with the traditional, I guess, battery like the Battleborn. They are, I believe they're about $1,000 each now. I was able to source these individual cells from a electric car manufacturer. And these are what we call prismatic cells. They're about 10 inches tall, about an inch wide, and 6 inches long. And they were much cheaper. So for the batteries that I acquire, there are 32 of them. It's equivalent to 8 Battleborn batteries. So if you were to buy 8 Battleborn, you're talking about $8,000. However, because I build the batteries myself, connecting them in electrically in series and parallel to give me the voltage I need, I think I paid maybe about $3,400 for the battery bank. Fast forward to today, I think the battery prices are coming down. There's a lot more manufacturers offering batteries for RV applications now. So you'll find batteries that are cheaper than say some of the conventional batteries.
Okay.
Very good. I think that answers Craig and Alina's question, which was why did you use all those small batteries rather than 4 big lithium ion batteries? So I guess from your side, it was like a cost thing.
Yeah, it was a cost thing, and I'm able to create the form factor that it would fit into the dinette. So I basically experimented a different configuration to maximize storage. I didn't want to take up too much storage. So I think it was a win-win situation for me to orient the battery the way I want it. As it is, it's a rectangular shape in form, and it's very efficient in space.
Yes, yeah, I can totally see that. So people are, I can imagine there's going to be a certain questions coming back to Escape. Why can't we do that or do it in that way? So there are some regulations here in Canada, and the regulations and they differ between Canada and the US, but of course we're governed by Canadian compliance codes, and Canadian compliance codes are, we still have to vent batteries regardless of whether they're lithium or not. However, in the US, you do not have to vent your batteries if they're lithium. So it's a bit of a difference between them. Listen, Johnny, we've hit the 115 mark on our side. Thank you so much for doing this. I know everyone's appreciated. We certainly do, 100% on our side. We're going to move on now, Johnny, but thanks very much. And we really do look forward to seeing you again at some point here as we move forwards.
Great. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
Johnny. With David's got a really interesting video here. David's video is a little bit longer. Can you remember, Harrison, was it 14 minutes or so?
14 and a half.
14 and a half. So Dave's video is just a little bit longer. Really nicely done. Lovely video. So we'll go through this now, and then we'll continue on with the Q&A stuff at the end. Now, the way we're going to answer the questions for David is mostly through Zoom. You can ask us questions on Excel events, and then we'll call those out to David as we work our way through.
And just a little shout out to Loy. Loy mentioned that
Body Use Escape, he appreciates that you still supported us with asking questions 100% all the way through. Whether you've bought a used Escape or a new Escape, it doesn't matter to me. You're all Escape owners. You're all part of the club, and we'll continue to support you all the way through.
Thank you. Loy.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Harrison. David, it's going to be over to you. But watch your video first.
I'll unmute him here. All right, David, you're unmuted. Welcome.
Thank you.
We'll get your video going here in just a quick moment. Let me fix our camera here. Carl's joining.
Okay. After seeing Johnny's, I think he's got a professional production team. Video is going to be on the exterior of the trailer. Up front, we did name our trailer the Caboose. So we had Escape make us a graphic, and I very much so like the swirl, the Escape swirl. So I just simply used it and included our name, and so that's what we did up front. Back of the trailer, we also included the name Caboose above Escape, and we also removed any indication of the length of the trailer. So the simple 21 pass Escape, and as well as the front, has been removed. And the reason for that, as you can well guess, we want to be able to fit in all the 20-foot state park, national park camping sites, and I just don't want to have any issue with that. So our tow vehicle is an SUV. It is shorter than a truck, so we have no trouble whatsoever doing so. So that's what we've done. Is a Coleman mock unit, and at the time, all that was available was the black shroud on top, and I actually like it. The car is black. We have a black swirl design. Windows, of course, are tinted, so black just works fine. I'm very happy with that. And as I walk forward, you're going to notice how smooth and clean the outside of the trailer is. We do not have any vents, your typical vents that you would see in absorption type refrigerators. Our refrigerator is the compressor model, so this kept it really clean looking, and I do like the look. People know one of the issues or the concerns in designing our trailer was weight, and that's because our tow vehicle, as you can see, is an SUV. It does not have a frame like a truck would have. It has a unibody construction frame, so we are not allowed to use a weight distribution hitch. So therefore, I've had to manually manage weight, and one of the ways in doing so is this weight safe trailer hitch. And if you can see as I zoom in, it's got a built-in scale, so I can actually monitor tongue weight. The second thing is, of course, we don't have the weight distribution hitch. So you're going to ask, well, what do you do about sway control? Well, everything that we have, all of our components, our electrical components, are right in this area here. Our sway control is actually mounted right here under the trailer, as you can see. Up here, this is light indicator as it's working. This is a electric active sway device. There is a motion sensor. So when the motion sensor senses sway, of course, it turns the brakes on. Simply pull the switch up here to turn it on, and you can see how the lights are blinking. That indicates it's powered up. We also have this unit right here is, as I point to it, there it is. That is a Bluetooth brake device. So my brake device is simply in this system. I have nothing hardwired into the car. When you step on the brakes, it activates the brakes, and you have an app on the phone, and you can activate your emergency brake system by just a simple tap on the button. Again, back to the weight issue. I'm going to pan back here, and you notice that we are not using the optional storage container that Escape offered. This was a lot heavier than what I dialed into. This is from E-Trailer. It's a aluminum device, an aluminum box. It's been powder coated. It's very nice in appearance. And it is smaller in size, so of course I was concerned with rock damage to the front of the trailer, so I had this vinyl wrap installed on the front of the trailer. It's kind of appears to be kind of a carbon fiber look, and it turned out quite nice. Really happy with it. This box, I believe, weighs like 18 pounds, and I was told the factory offering, the Escape offering with the fiberglass box, is almost 100 pounds empty, so extensively lighter. And also, I actually like the profile better, because as you can see, it is vertical. The sides are vertical, so the bottom has the same area as the top, and it gives you actually more storage space. So inside, I am able to store my Honda 22 generator. Let me flip the phone around. I don't know if it's going to help, but there's my Honda 22 generator, and I have a couple of fuel cans behind it, 2 gallons apiece. I was going to actually convert this to propane. I decided not to do so. I'm going to keep it as it is, keep it gasoline, because we do have the Coleman Mach AC, and it has a soft start in the AC, so I am able to run run that AC with this generator. The generator is a 2200 watt, and if you convert it to propane, you lose 200 watts. And you might not think that's a big deal. It could still run the AC Mach, but you know, just like a tow vehicle with the tongue weight and the payload weight, you want to have a little wiggle room. And you know, if you're boondocking, you want to still have power for your water pump and lights and yada yada. So I wanted a little bit of a buffer zone. So I decided not to convert. I'm gonna leave it as is, so I can get the max value out of it. It's called the Honda companion model, where you can actually plug your 30 amp RV plug into it directly with a 3-prong converter. So it's very, very nice. And also there's plenty of room here that I put all my hoses on top, my water hoses, electrical, everything. So there's plenty of room in the box. Like the box. On a hydraulic, works really well. Pops up by itself. I insulated the inside with Reflexit to reduce the heat on the generator for storage purposes only. In the front, we have the Proven Lock. Proven Lock that some of you folks probably have for security reasons. Do like that. I've set up my tow vehicle in the inside, where I have ample storage for my camera gear and etc. things on top. So plenty of storage between the car and the trailer. The power jack. This is interesting. So I found this power jack. It's a Trailer Valet. That's the company who makes it. It weighs 10 pounds, total weighs 10 pounds. And here I have the handle. I can go ahead and install the handle. so I can, manually crank. And also, just like your stabilizers, you can put a socket on that and use your drill, and that becomes your power jack. And you're going to ask why I did that, probably. And another reason, it goes back to weight. This jack weighs 10 pounds. The electric power jack option from Escape is 30 pounds, so I saved 20 pounds there. I am going to be changing my propane bottles out to fiberglass. Fiberglass bottles made by Viking Propane. They are a fraction of the weight. They are clear. You can see through them. You can see the level of propane that you have. And I will drop a lot more weight there as well. I manage my weight through the load in the trailer, by how much water I put in my freshwater tank. And I simply just, once again, go back to my weight scale hitch, and I can look at where I'm at. And that's how we keep our tongue weight at roughly 10-12% till it's quite nicely. Upgrade I did. Instead of ordering a second sewer tube, I ordered just the one, and the original one sat right here. It was right there. I moved it back to here, and the reason I did so, for clearance. This one here is actually 6 inches. This one is 4 inches. I put this one up front because it's less likely to drag than this one. In this one, you just simply open the lid, open the door, and inside, get it pulled out here. That's where I keep my carpet. So when I'm driving down the road, it stores in there. If I put it in there and it's wet, it's not going to be in my tow vehicle. It's not going to be in my trailer. Then I've drilled a whole series of holes underneath, weep holes, if you will. So when the carpet is wet, it can drain and dry out and not mold. I thought it was a great ad. Because again, I don't have a big pickup truck. I have no room to put this kind of stuff, so I kind of had to do what I had to do. Up front, you can see a upgraded black granite composite sink. This is LK, manufactured in the United States. I did purchase it here in the United States and had it shipped to Canada to Escape to have them install it. I'm going to caution you here on this. Anytime you order from the United States and ship to Canada, there is international shipping plus customs fees, which I was not aware of. The sink ended up costing me more money to ship than it actually on the purchase. So always try to source out of Canada. Over here again is our induction, commercial induction cooktop, which we can use indoors as well as outdoors on AC or on through our inverter. Then over here, here's another upgrade. Escape left the counter blank or smooth, if you will. I cut the hole and installed this myself. This is the kitchen and home 2-burner propane cooktop, and it has a cool little feature here. I'll point it right here. This is a wok burner, so we can do stir fries. And again, this one works indoors and outdoors. Below, we had Escape prepare the hole for us as you would for a convection microwave. This instead is a Breville air fryer combo oven. Love it, works quite well. I made this maple tray for it. I'll point the tray here, and I'm going to extend it out, and I hope I don't lose it here as I'm doing so. I'm going to pull it all the way out and kind of back up so you can get another perspective of it. And here it is fully extended. We use it in this position if we're doing long-term baking, because these do generate a bit of heat. I've insulated the box inside, so if we're just making toast or heating up a bagel or a pizza, we can leave it inside. I'll push it back inside.
Introduced us to acoustic alchemy. There it is, Mr. Chow. New episode of the
As you see right here, here's the gas line that goes to the cooktop. Right there is a gas quick disconnect with a shutoff. I simply turn the shutoff, remove the gas line, And then on the cooktop, on the K&N cooktop, it is very easily for me to just stick my hand under there, like so, and you can see how it comes up. I can take it outside and use it on our table, use it outdoors, do my stir fry outdoors. Here I've installed a radiant wall heater. The brand is called Envy. 120 volts, draws 450 watts, very efficient. We use this while we are plugged into shore power at an RV park. No sense in using propane when we're already paying for electricity.
Wow, David, I love watching your video.
Oh, thank you.
I think you've done an absolutely amazing job on that. The engineer in me, of course, is looking at all of these and going, "That's cool. That's cool. That's really cool."
Okay.
Yeah, I want to do all of these things. Do you have a background, or are you just just particularly interested in this type of stuff?
Well, if I have an interest in stuff, I'm all in. I just do the research, and I'm kind of a handy guy, kind of like Johnny. I'm not the engineer that Johnny is, but my next door neighbor is a double electrical engineer, so I can always lean on him.
Right. Yeah. Well, you're technically minded, and that's kind of the key thing, I think.
Linda made a comment here for you. David, she likes the stovetop that can be taken outside. That is really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That's a beautiful idea. And actually, it's a really nice cooktop too.
Yeah.
Really nice 2-burner.
I get hungry seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, camping is all about cooking outdoors. And, if it's 75, 80 degrees inside the trailer, I sure don't want to add any more heat to it. So going out with all the appliances, it just kind of made sense. And I set the trailer up to where I have, propane and electric. So given the source, I can go one way or the other. If I'm plugged into an RV shore power, of course, I'm going to use electric because we are paying for it. But, gas is there. It's our backup. Quite often we'll go out camping, and even through our inverter using the induction top, and we also do have the, as well as the Breville, we have the 700 watt microwave, and between the two and with the inverter, quite frequently, we don't even use propane, kind of like Johnny.
Perfect. Somebody's asking there, it's Art and Kathy Mulvik. Mulvik, I got that. I can't see it properly from here, but they were asking you, what tow vehicle do you have? I think that was to you.
Well, it's a Volkswagen, 2012. It's not brand new. It's a Touareg diesel. It's a 3-liter diesel in an 8-speed transmission. It's got a ton of torque, 460 foot-pounds of torque, and a lot of compression. So I have to be honest with you, it's a little secret I'm not proud of, but we took off on our trip, and I was having some issues with my Bluetooth brake controller, trying to get it dialed in. So a good part of the trip, I actually drove without brakes. Don't recommend it to anybody, but I was very thankful that I had that big boy diesel with all that compression. So as long as I didn't follow too closely, it worked out just fine.
Excellent. Yeah, very capable vehicle, the Touareg, especially the earlier ones. I know they changed I think they changed transmission or something in them later on. In the later models, from what I remember.
Yeah, the new ones aren't the same.
Yeah,
especially the Atlas. People look at the Atlas and they look the same, but they are basically the same undercarriage as the Tiguan, as the smaller one. And of course, it's gas. It's no longer diesel. So I'm very pleased to have it.
Yeah. Wonderful. Did you have some questions for?
I had a question with regards to, not sure if you answered that already, that brake system that you installed. How does it work? Does it work?
Well,
fine?
it is a Bluetooth device. So it simply gets plugged into your female 7-way connector.
Yeah.
But instead of having it protruding out of the connector, I elected to attach it to the frame rail of the trailer. So it's a little neater install, and it's not hanging out. And so when you plug it in, the brake indicator lights up. There's a light, and it tells you that you got power. So then you simply pair it with through Bluetooth on your smartphone.
Yeah.
And then up pops a little red dot in the middle of your smartphone, and that becomes your emergency brake applicator. And of course, you can dial in your intensity and your strength, just like a traditional one, but nothing is hardwired into the car. Should the car have the original Volkswagen wiring harness in it, probably would have been okay to have a hardwire. I'm picking up on Treat there. Is Treat asking a question?
No, I think microphone just went on for a second.
Okay, but anyways, in simplicity, it's just a workaround because I don't have the wiring harness that would allow me to do so. Volkswagen is it's probably one of the finest tow vehicles, but it has a little bit of idiosyncrasies that you have to find workarounds, and they want you to kind of use their stuff. So
okay,
yeah. This
tell me, how does it perform? Have you played with it to see how well it performs on the braking?
It actually performs probably better than I needed to. I'm actually going to crawl under the trailer and dial the brakes back a little bit. The brakes are actually too strong because it works well until you get down to about 5-10 miles an hour. Then it wants to kind of lock on.
Ah, I see.
So I think I just need to adjust the brakes.
Right. Very good. Well, that's excellent, David. Really appreciate all of that. I think we've answered all the questions that came through. So obviously did a great job on the video. People have got their minds. I bet minds are spinning about how they can move on to something. Oh, I had one question on your oven, your toaster oven.
Yes.
That you have in there. The slide system that you put it on, is that like a positive lock on the inside, or what stops it from wanting to come out?
No, I wish you could see me because if I hold this up, maybe you can see it.
Sure.
Simply a little stick here. It's a maple board, which is 3/4 by 3/4, 25. I just simply drop in the house that you prepared for me, and it prevents it from sliding forward. This becomes
your lock. Yeah.
The simpler, the better.
Yeah, a proper physical lock.
Yep. And that gets that we drive down the road and works out great.
That's great. Well, listen, David, really appreciate you putting this together for us. I know it was a bit of work on your side, but tremendously proud of what you've done with your trailer. I'm proud of what you've done with your trailer. It looks fantastic. I know we'll be, obviously, like I said, I'm looking at all these sort of modifications. I'm thinking, oh, that's really cool. How can we look at something like that for us? It's always for the masses more than for
of course
for individuals type idea. And of course, when we do it, there's always the expectations are different. You can, when you do it yourself, there might be little things that you go, I can live with that, or whatever it might be. On our side, it tends to be a little bit different.
Well, you'll see it soon someday. We get this border COVID crossing stuff taken care of, and I'll drop in and say hi.
That'd be great. Well, you're pretty close by, so that'll be.
We are. We're just a couple hours down the road.
Exactly. That will be awesome. Listen, David, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. We're going to move on here now, and I know there's the last little bit of drinking session to be done, and then we'll get on to treats. So thanks, David. We'll speak to you soon.
And thank you. It's been fun.
Wonderful. Okay, so next up is Treat Hull.
Get him up here. So Treat Hull is in the room. I'll unmute to hear Treat, or ask you to unmute. Yeah.
Treat has a beautiful
Treats our Canadian addition to the videos for today. Treats out in Ontario. And we'll get this going, Harrison. Okay, well, thanks very much, Treat, for joining us. We'll fire up the video first, and then we'll get you going, and then we'll take you off mute. So you'll be able to take yourself off mute, so we'll be able to go from there. Yeah, okay, we got Treat on mute. Okay, fair enough. Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Treat Hall, and with my wife, Deb Simpson, we live in Picton in Prince Edward County at the eastern end of Lake Ontario. Prince Edward County will be known to a lot of RVers as the home of Sandbanks Provincial Park. Our son got married in Vancouver last year, and we realized that if we wanted to see them, the only way we were going to do it is if we had an RV that was up to driving across the country. We got on the Escape wait list at the start of this year, at the start of 2021, but it was going to be another year and a half before we got a new Escape. In the end, we were lucky and we were able to purchase a used 2019 5.0 in mint condition in April of this year. We've only had it a short time, but together we've been sailing or RVing for nearly 30 years, and we've got some definite ideas of how our boats or our trailer ought to work. So in this video, we're going to share 6 of the top improvements we've made, starting with number 6. We usually like to wash our dishes outside when we can, and we used to do it in plastic wash bins, but they were kind of an awkward size and difficult to store, took up storage space. So Deb, my wife, figured out that half-size hotel pans are a great replacement. They fit, we have 2, and they'll nest in the sink when we're underway, and then we can fill one with rinse water and the other with soapy water for washing the dishes outside. I made a discovery as well that in addition to being great for dishes, they're a really good way to carry your tools around. There's never enough counter space in sailboats or RVs, which leads us to improvement number 5. The last improvement we've made so far in the galley is to install a fold-out counter extension. We're inspired by the escape option, and also there are several people who've posted on the forum and on Facebook where they've come up with their own approaches. In this case, we've got a maple interior, so we got a maple cutting board on Amazon. To be truthful, I didn't make it up. And then cut it to size, and also courtesy of Amazon, found some very robust and moderately priced folding hinges, which are very sturdy, fold down readily, and as I mentioned, cheap. People ask often about how you can hang things in an escape if you don't have the walls reinforced. And what I found is that in many cases, you can tie in to the cabinet framing at the corners, but also there are other reinforcements where you have to look quite carefully, but you'll find, let me see if I can find one. There's one there. I'll zoom in. If you can find them, there are actually reinforcements behind the cabinetry in some locations, and the way you can find them, there are small staples that hold the paneling to the reinforcement or the stringer, and they've been filled with a good color matching filler so that you hardly take any notice of them at all. But if you want to mount something to the ply, the Luan paneling, if you look for these staple marks, you'll generally find some place that you can where you can mount into the hardwood stringer behind the paneling. Imagine it's starting to pour and you can't find the remote for the awning, which leads to improvement number 4. Our trailer came, when we bought it used, with the Dometic 9500E power awning. That was the good news. The bad news, it was that the seller's family were unable to find the remote which controls the installation for most people. It's been a bit of a challenge to get the proper remote, given how busy Dometic and all the other RV suppliers are. So instead, I installed a manual switch, and that enables me to put the awning down or to retract it without the use of the remote. There we are. The biggest challenge on this one, again, it's not intellectually complicated, except it took me quite a while to come up with a wiring diagram on the internet, which showed where to make the connection. As I say, the concept of the switch is simple, but the hard part was figuring out where to connect it. Another advantage of the manual switch, having a manual switch like this, is if we were underway somewhere and we lost the remote, even if we had one, we could still retract, we could still use the awning, is the bottom line. So far, we've been looking at relatively low-cost improvements, but that's about to change with improvement number 3. The stove that came with the trailer, the Suburban cooktop, wasn't very good, so we made a very quick decision to replace it. In the end, we decided on a Hendrickson 2-burner stove shown here. It's built like the proverbial brick outhouse. It has more horsepower, significantly more horsepower than the Suburban did, and also has, in terms of convenience, comes with a flush mount cutting board as part of the package. I thought it might be difficult to install, but it actually turns out to be quite easy. The original hole that Escape cut in the countertop for the Suburban is, if anything, almost a little too wide front to back. But all that left for me to do was to cut out enough material so that there was room for the new stove end to end. I was also worried about the gas line and whether it would work out. But as it turns out, I hope you can see under here, the gas line is a perfect length and connected directly to the new stove. I had to add an extension and an elbow to get it out of the way, so it was most convenient, but it went right together. We love our Instant Pot, but we'd have to leave it at home without improvement number 2. Here's where the inverter wound up living. That's under the driver's side settee seat. In theory, it's all pretty straightforward, but the challenge is in the details. In particular, working with a pretty small physical space. So I had to put in a new stringer to support the inverter, and then a panel, which I also tied to the floor with angle brackets, and the inverter mounting bolts were tied to that plywood panel. And then there were a very short wire run to the power center and another wire run to the switch sub panel that I made up with marine style circuit breakers. Having the correct wiring for this sub panel, which leads to all the outlets, is absolutely critical to the functioning of the whole installation. So you can see it's kind of close quarters for wiring purposes, and down at the very bottom, right next to the EMS, you'll see 2 heavy cables. Those are number 1 AWG, which is about the diameter of your index finger, and those are the input cables from the lithium batteries to the inverter. The length has to be kept, supposed to be under 5 feet. In all honesty, it's 6 feet in this case. The inverter draws a lot of current, so it's really important to pay attention to the wire size that's required by the inverter manufacturer. In this case, it was a Go Power 1500 watt inverter with a built-in transfer switch to cut over when we were offshore power. The number 1 improvement we made was also the most expensive. It's our souped-up energy supply. We bought our 5.0 2019 used in the spring of 2021. And when we bought it, it had 2 6-volt golf cart batteries that had been fitted. Those were fitted by Escape for the original owner. We boondock pretty well all the time, rarely have hookups, and so we wanted more storage capacity and did a couple of things. First, the solar panel, the trailer came equipped with a 170-watt solar panel installed by ETI. That was the good news. The bad news was it didn't work. I climbed up on a ladder with my multimeter and determined that there was no output voltage from the panel itself. And Go Power, the solar panel provider, shipped one to me in 3 days on warranty. Remarkable. In any event, the main challenge of installing the new solar panel was not falling off the ladder, basically. There was nothing technically complicated about it. The lithium batteries are also a simple installation, where the toughest thing was lifting out the heavy lead-acid storage batteries, which got me winded carrying them from the locker to the trailer door. The lithium batteries you can see here, I would say, I guess the main challenge was just to find a way to safely not lock them down, mount them. And I used a couple of pieces of wood, as you can see here, and some battery box, the standard battery box, sort of belts, plastic belts. You can see the size of the wires here that were used for both the main source of power for the trailer, but also the big red cable on the left is the cable to the inverter. Let's see. The other thing that we did in connection with the lithium batteries and the solar panels was to install a charge monitor right beneath the sink, which shows the accurate state of charge. This is what's called a shunt meter that actually measures all the current into and out of the batteries. There are cheaper voltage meters, but they are very approximate. This is much more precise. And because we mainly use the inverter when we're cooking, we also put the inverter on-off switch right here under the counter in the galley. The main challenge of installing both of those was the close quarters. I've got good-sized hands, and getting down in there to mount the shunt for the state of charge meter and to run the wiring safely and professionally was a bit challenging. It's not intellectually complicated, but it required more time than you'd think. That's it for 6 of the top improvements we've made to our Escape. We hope that you were able to get something out of the video. If you'd like to contact us for more information, we're both on the Escape Facebook page. Thanks very much.
Okay, hi Treat. So we're all back. We hear Treat, Harrison?
I think I'm unmuted.
You're unmuted. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you well. So we saw that your tow vehicle obviously is the 2.7 liter EcoBoost. That's the one that we have at Escape. Same tow vehicle, which obviously pulls very well on the fifth wheel, as we know.
One of a question that people have comes up all the time on the forum. We've got the short bed, the 5.5 foot bed. And I would say on principle, people are concerned about the turning radius. And in fact, we can turn with it much more acutely than we'd ever want to in real life.
Yeah.
In fact, we have a tonneau cover, a hard tonneau cover that folds up. And the only risk is if you were really whacked out, and really doing a hard reverse, maybe you could hit the tonneau cover, but you'd really have to try.
Yeah, I recall. Actually, I stand corrected. We have the 3.5 liter EcoBoost, but still the short bed as well. And that's what Reese designed the fifth wheel for in the first place, was the short bed truck.
It fit well enough that I suspected that.
Yeah. No, that was his whole goal in the process here, because there weren't any small fifth wheels around at the time. I know Scamp had something similar, but certainly not as pretty looking as what the Escape 5.0 is. And I know William and I went and looked at the actual turning angles you could get, and it was up of 80, I think 85, 87 degrees, which is pretty.
The question is, why would you want to?
Exactly right. You're just going to scrub your tires and everything. There's no need to go that far. But having said that, it's crazy. We've had a couple of folks who've done some damage to the back of their trucks when they turn maybe just a little bit too tight on it. I suspect that is a bit of naivety. The first time using it, not necessarily being aware that it doesn't fully jackknife behind you. But that's fantastic. That is David. So David Hendrickson has asked, does your shunt have a Bluetooth app like my Victron?
That's why it's cheaper than the Victron. No, it doesn't. I am sure that Go Power. I have the impression that it's ex-Xantrax staff, because they're in the same part of the country, whereas Xantrax used to be the big dog in town in inverters. They're a little behind everyone else on the Bluetooth, and that can't come as a surprise to them. To be honest, I'm a real techie, and it would satisfy my inner geek, but we find no real practical need for the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, I like the manual. Obviously, it was necessity is the mother of invention. So you had to come up with a way with your awning to bring it in and out. Of course, So you're right. I mean, the challenge is if you lose your remote, you certainly can't get it out. You could get it in, of course, with the with the spindle, but you never get it back out again. So that's a pretty handy little addition you made there.
It was actually surprisingly difficult to come up with a wiring diagram. The Dometic doesn't really encourage you to put in a manual switch. I think they have a part number for one, but in their manual for the installation, if I bought it or you bought it, the manual doesn't show you how to put in a manual switch. However, they also sell the same control package with no awning, just the electronic control guts, so that other awning suppliers can brand, I guess, or at least use the Dometic control system. And the installation manual for the kind of the white branded Dometic, that the control system that's intended to go with other people's awnings, actually shows you where to put where in the circuit to connect the manual switch. So once I found that, it was easy peasy.
Excellent, wonderful,
very well done, very detailed. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for Treat on this?
No, I think we are good. I don't see any questions here on the event.
The one thing we do find, Treat, is most guys who are sailors tend to look at the Dickinson Marine stoves or the Force 10, or really actually they're called Eno now, I guess, Force 10. So look at those stoves. We have a bit of a challenge here for us from an installation perspective, in that the Dickinson Marine stove is not CSA. So as a manufacturer, we can't put it in.
Ironically, they've been down the street from you, I think, since the beginning of time.
Yeah. No, we've been to visit them.
Relatively down the street.
We know. Yeah, I know exactly where they are. It's just we're obviously our the CSA requirements extend to us from a manufacturing perspective, so I can't go there. But I am looking around to see what other options there are for us. Certainly, because a lot of folks are interested in that much higher quality 2-burner or even 3-burner. I'm giving things away now that I shouldn't be, but it's in the product development queue. That's a better way to say it. And from a marketing perspective, what I probably shouldn't be saying.
All of a sudden demand will dry up, waiting for the new 3-burner stove to come out. There have been obviously in discussions on Facebook and elsewhere concerns about the reliability of the key component suppliers, and they're kind of well known. We have the same Dometic air conditioner as everybody else, and the same components. What I have found where I'm sourcing new components, for example, the stovetop, the first place, my go-to solution is to go to a marine store.
Yeah.
The components are about 50% more expensive and 100% more robust.
Yeah.
I think it's in part because if you're a sailor and you have a failure and you're 5 days from home, you do without. You can't just pull into an RV dealership and get it repaired. So I think probably sailors perhaps are less error tolerant. Not to say RVers are error tolerant, but a lot of the marine components are more mission critical than they might be in an RV. They are also proportionately expensive.
I have noticed that it's a common trend amongst everyone who's a sailor. It's a common trend. Back to me on these things. Absolutely common trend. So, Daryl has a question for you.
I'll just come in the camera here. There I am. Hi, Treat.
Hi.
I'm curious. Did you find your trailer on our pre-owned site?
We almost didn't. It was posted, I think, on a Friday night. Maybe at close of business your day or later than that, because we watched it like a hawk. We didn't want to wait a year and a half to see our son and his new partner. And Deb had insomnia and was up at like 4 a.m. I mean, as the English would say, it's a sad life. If at 4 a.m. you're watching the Escape trailer site, and up pops, she opens up the site and bingo, there's this 5.0, 2019 5.0 in Kingston, Ontario, of all places, which is 100 kilometers.
Wow.
So just up the street by Canadian standards.
Yeah.
So before 7 a.m., we responded. We talked about it. Too bad it took us so long to talk about it because we didn't get our email into 7 a.m. and somebody had gotten there before us. You have to get up pretty early in the morning to get a used Escape.
Yes.
So the seller called us very apologetic. You were number 2, but the people who were there first, and I've got to honor that, and they want it. Okay, you win some, you lose some. 2 days later, she calls back and says they changed their mind. Would you still like it?
Perfect.
My response was, do bears poop in the woods? Definitely.
Well, that's great. Yeah, we're having some very quick sales in some of those trailers that come up onto that page of ours. They don't last long. They go very quickly.
Yeah, you don't want to discuss price details, but let me just say there was zero depreciation. And the seller said I had kind of strict ethics about what I was doing. I was taking people in the order they responded, but people after you offered more money.
Yeah.
In other words, they were paying a premium to what the original buyer paid. So,
okay. Well, that's great. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thanks, Reed. I mean, that's always like an ethical challenge, right? Isn't it? For it's capitalism versus so your ethical being of yourself when it comes to trailers. I mean, we've had that with people saying, "Oh, I'll pay you more money if you can give me an earlier slot," and stuff in the trailers. I'm like, "Oh, we just can't go down that road. That's you know where that leads, right? That's leads nowhere good.
No happy outcome."
Yeah.
I just saw a quick question from Johnny. Will these videos be available after the live stream? And we'll put them up on the forum, maybe.
Yeah, we'll put them on the Escape forum. I think that's the plan. You guys have done a great job. So treat David and Johnny. I mean, these videos have turned out excellent. I know everyone is really enjoying watching them, and guaranteed, we go and put these up, they're going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of hits.
Yeah.
Sort of going forward. So you might be a star after a while.
When do I get the royalty check?
That's it. Straight to business. Let's go.
Checks in the mail.
The big pay. Yeah, residual rights, intellectual property rights. That's where it's at.
For sure. Great. Well, listen, Treat. That's I think that's a wrap on your side.
Well, thank you. It was fun to do.
Yeah, wonderful. No, I really appreciate you contributing to us on this. You did a nice video or nice video and compilation of photos there from a PowerPoint perspective, which I think has turned out really well. So we'll say thanks very much, Treat. We're going to sign off from yourself. We're going to move on with the next part of things, which is the Escape quiz. Oh, I've already passed this, haven't I? Timing wise, looks like I have.
Sorry.
But that's okay. All right, good. Let's move on now. The Escape quiz. So Harrison, how does everybody get to the Escape quiz? From our side. Okay, so that's the quiz in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who did it did great on it, and some people maybe didn't do so good, but at least it gave you the answers as you went through it. So now we're going to say thank you very much to everybody once more, anyone who stayed through the quiz. Was there anything else that we needed to say, do, or I think no, there isn't.
Yeah.
So this has kind of worked.
I think on our end, we say goodbye. We keep the second networking open for a little while, and then we will shut that down. There's 2 or 3 questions that were not answered. I try to get the answers during the week and reach out.
Great.
To everyone here.
Great. Okay, that's wonderful, everybody. So we'll move this on. We'll move to the networking session. We're going to say goodbye now, and then we'll close it off. So to all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day for tomorrow. US Open is on, and I think it's the final of World's Strongest Man. That's today, if not tomorrow. So a couple of big events going on over the next couple of,
the biggest one, though.
and the Escape Rally was the biggest. I think World's Strongest Man is today, and the US Open finishes off tomorrow. So those 2 big things. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We've had a lot of fun putting this together. We'll certainly be doing another one, but at the very end of it all, we would really prefer to meet everybody in a physical rally, and with any luck, nothing else will happen to us this year, and we'll be able to have the rally in Osoyoos next year. And if everything goes according to plan, then I'm going to say Sharon and I will be able to jump in a trailer and head down south into the US, so that we're able to have some rallies with our US customers over the next year. Big goals, try and get south. I know Sharon really wants to get to Florida for some reason. I don't know why that is. You got some friends in Florida, so she really wants to go to Florida. I'll go anywhere. So that's very much. Okay, thanks everybody. We'll do it once more. We're Escape Trailer.
Built for you.